I watched this movie Disconnect. If you can pull it up.
Yep.
Let's just start with this. So Disconnect is a story with the actor, what's his name? Jason Bateman. Okay.
Right.
So he's a great actor, phenomenal job. But this story is a story of a father who is working, doing what he's doing. His son in a class. Look at box office. Look at box office. What it did.
1.5
Think
million,
about it.
nothing.
And I'm telling you, every
Right,
parent must watch this movie, right?
Wow.
So, you know, this father's got this kid. He's got a daughter and a son. The son falls in love with a kid in school, girl in school. And he tells another guy, he finds out, but the guy tells the bully of the school. The bully of the school creates a fake Facebook profile with the girl that he likes his picture on there and befriends all the people in school thinking that he is the girl. Then she reaches out to him, and meaning he, acting as if it's her, reaches out to him saying, hey, thank you for your help, or some message like that on Facebook. So I didn't even know you paid attention to me. So of course I pay attention to you. And then he starts flirting with him, thinking it's her. Eventually, the bully says, I'll show you mine if you show me yours. Okay? So he's like, really? Yes. So the bully sends a picture of some girls,
Right.
you know, naked, and it's just the bottom, nothing more, right? And the guy's like, oh my God, says, then he sends his picture. But he wants, the bully wants him to send a picture with his face in it. So he does. They take that picture. The next day, the kid goes to school. Everybody's looking at this kid, laughing at him, right? He's like, why is everybody laughing? And everybody starts showing him a picture. Listen, you send this message, and the bully outs him, you know, exposes him, right? So this kid is devastated, doesn't know what to do. He's 12 years old, doesn't know how to handle this. Goes home, turns on heavy metal music. They're wondering why he's doing that. He's hanging himself in his room. Sister walks in, holds him before he kills himself. Father comes in and says, what the hell is going on? He says, finally they find out the situation. Dad goes to the other dads. And then, anyways, this story right here.
It's based on a true story, by the way.
It's based on a true, and
Yeah.
it's happening
And there's
all
multiple.
the time.
There are multiple versions of this. I'll tell you what. I've done this on my YouTube channel, Have a Seat with Chris Hansen, in a case where a young man, same thing happened to him. And the mom went to, and not only was this an embarrassment at school, it got into different sites that it was being traded for child porn. It went on Twitter and was being disseminated on Twitter. They went to Twitter and said, take this down. Twitter didn't act.
Pretty wild.
For months and months and months and months. And it's the subject of a civil lawsuit claiming that Twitter was complicit in the distribution of child pornography. This is real life stuff. This happens. You look at the case down in Naples, not far from here. A girl was a very popular TikToker, started during the pandemic, 13, 14, 15. A guy becomes obsessed, shows up at the door with a shotgun, blows open the door. The father's a retired lieutenant from Jersey City PD, fortunately had a pistol, shoots him dead. Stand your ground case. We didn't find out till just a month or so ago that this was all involved in a Twitter type thing. And it turns out the guy who was shot dead, the stalker, had been in contact with other kids at her school to get information about her.
See, this is stories like this that.
I mean, look, it's all great to be on social media. You know, it's a part of the fabric of our society, of our lives. And kids should be able to go out and create accounts and be able to express themselves. It's all good, but it's got to be monitored. And the thing that drives me crazy, guys, is you see these parents who are exploiting their children. Not in this case. I'm not arguing that in the case in Naples. But in other cases, and I've done stories on this, where parents are pimping out their kids in these quote-unquote family channels. Mm-hmm. And YouTube sometimes doesn't crack down on this stuff. So they'll limit monetization on a show that I do exposing this stuff. But the young girl who's being exploited, that show's fine. They monetize the heck out of it. It's insane.
So what do you do? You're a parent, you're listening to this. Okay, we've heard many different things. What are the guidelines? Because there's a difference between being too intrusive and it's like, Dad, leave me alone. Mom, leave me alone. You know, let me have my own life versus,
Absolutely.
you know these guys are out there.
They're out there. Well, you have to, look, when we talk about the drug problem, there's demand reduction. We treat it as an illness sometimes as opposed to a crime. There's no demand reduction effectively for predators. So your best defense is education and the discussion you have with your children at home. There's one discussion when they first get online and have a phone. There are adults out there who want to trick you. Kids don't like to be tricked. And as they get older And as you allow them access to different areas of the internet, you have to up that conversation and be very straight up with them and say, look, you don't want to hear this from me, but I do this for a living. I talk to people who live in this world, and it's dangerous if you don't apply these rules. They used to say to us when we were growing up, don't talk to strangers. Good advice then, good advice today. But the problem is the stranger on Wednesday is so adept at grooming your child that he's not a stranger on Saturday. And I read these transcripts. When I go back and do the podcast, Predators I've Caught, I go back in the cases that we've already done, and I immerse myself in the transcripts, the confrontation, the interview, the stuff that didn't necessarily make the show at the time. And you see this pattern of grooming and this normalization of adult sex to children and this conversation where they try to relate to a child at a child's level. And it follows a pattern. And it's effective because it works. It works time and time again. So if you eliminate that, you educate and you prepare your child and you
have the conversation.
Let's you have the conversation, and they have to feel comfortable coming to you. You're not going to take away the internet if they come to you and say something.
I'm saying, do you have kids?
Yeah, mine are grown. I mean, my kids, my two oldest are in the business already.
Let's just say you have a 10-year-old kid today. Have the role play with us. What's the conversation? You have a son or you have a daughter. How do you have the conversation?
I'm going to let you visit YouTube.
Okay.
But I'm going to put protections on this. And you need to know that there are people on YouTube who are creating content, who are making shows that at first appear to be appropriate for children, cartoonish, but they're not. They're intended to trick you. So I'm going to watch closely and monitor the content that you view, the shows you watch on YouTube. And if I see anything, we're going to have a conversation. And if anybody ever comes to you who you don't know in real life and wants to be your friend, you need to tell me about it. I'm not going to punish you, but you need to tell me. Because,
why is that? Why?
Because there are people out there who want to hurt kids. This is a sad reality of life. It's sad, but it's true. There are people, that's why we have police. That's why we have the FBI. That's why God created parents. However you want to phrase it with your belief system in your own home, I'm here to protect you. I'm not here to punish you. And you need to tell me if something like that happens. And if there is a bad guy out there who tries to do something with you, we'll go after him together.
Now, are you specifically saying YouTube for a reason? Because I would feel like Snapchat would be probably
I use it just, Snapchat.
You're using that as a...
TikTok, Snapchat, whatever it is.
Okay.
And the thing that you really have to be careful with when the kids get on and play these interactive games, because somebody posing as a 13-year-old in St. Louis could be a 55-year-old in his mother's basement wearing his underwear surrounded by pizza boxes trying to trick kids. You create these images in a kid's mind and they get it.
Right.
But I'll tell you this, early on in the Predator investigations, I had a group of maybe a dozen 13, 14-year-olds. And I said, show of hands, how many of you have been approached online by an adult and it made you uncomfortable? 99%.
Oh, wow.
How many of you told your parents? 2.
So they just don't feel comfortable telling their parents?
If you enjoyed this short clip, click over here to watch another short clip. And if you want to watch the entire episode, the entire podcast, click here.